Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is CPI Day, Wednesday, July the 12th, just after 6 a.m. over there on the East Coast. And I want to thank those of you that were supportive enough to understand. My daughter had her quinceañera yesterday and absolutely fantastic. I took off shortly before the close as things were just chopping around and went to help everybody clean up 3:30 in the morning over here. And I again threw this out in the chat room. If you really, really want to get in with the zero DTE army, yeah, go ahead. You can not trade. It's not going to cost you anything. And yeah, they took it right there, 3:30, 3:34, and then boom, you just got your huge fucking algorithm that went into the end of the day. And I'll show you here. What you had yesterday was your puts and call ratio, CPCE. People were shoving each other out of the fucking way. It was like somebody screamed fire in a theater so that they could rush and get into calls ahead of the CPI report that's coming out at 8:30. It's fucking ridiculous. But you have your lowest reading on the put call ratio since November of 2021. So let that sink in a little bit as far as how greedy it has started to become, while at the same time we come back onto our NASDAQ, and I'm not a Bollinger Band guy on a day-to-day basis. Colleague of mine brought it up and says you need to take a look at it, and he says, you know what, you're absolutely right. Your Bollinger Bands are pinching here, and you are going, there is zero question, you are going to get a major move coming here in the very short term. You could get a spike up to 16,000. You could get that retracement down to 14, 13,000. We are not fortune tellers. We look at what we've got, we analyze, we make decisions, and then we adjust. This has been in a sell signal on the NASDAQ since the middle of June. Since right there after OPEX week, you have screaming in your face, I'm naked, I'm wet, I'm ready for you, ready signals. And somebody's over there playing fucking PlayStation instead of actually having something done here. Weekly, same thing. Weekly, Bollinger Bands have just been getting fucking spanked to the upside on the weekly. Weekly is still super overbought. No sell signals on your weeklies, obviously, because we haven't gone anywhere. And I'll even bring you into that over there on the QQQ, where, again, yes, we did have a nice 4-point range yesterday. Yes, end of the day, it did close up there at 368. Yes, if you took that trade off on the QQQ, which you need to take off anyway, which was there, you got only a 54% return on that 369, 368 spread. That's all that you made. You only made 54%. But I am sticking with it. With this 370.26 close, 370.29, 370.28, I am sticking with that trade I keep putting there in the room for Friday, which is the 371, 370 calls on the QQQ. If we don't get a CPI rejection, those will be paying a lot better than they were the last 2 days, which was only 30 cents. Come back over to where we're looking here on this. And again, everything is inside of that NASDAQ. Everything. Again, this is your put call ratio telling you, look at this. This is people screaming, we're never going to dip. We're never going to dip. That's exactly what's taking place here. And again, CPI days. This is the SPX data that I collected and shared, which only applies to since we have gotten that major bottom on inflation. Last month, we were looking for 20. We only got 10. We beat it. We only traded a 26-point range after a 13-point gap up. That was on June 13th. We closed up 30 points on the day after a 13-point gap up. Closed up 16 points from the open. I will bring this to your attention in case you do care anything about it, is that what you have noticed over the past couple of years or past couple of months is that when you do get a gap up that is greater than 20 points, you do tend to come back down and visit the open during the course of the day. So you want to keep that in mind. I can bring this over now since we are here. And this is your hourlies. Your 1 hours on the indexes and the SPX, very, very near being overbought. NASDAQ, again, NASDAQ is your weak link now. NASDAQ is your weak link. They've shifted over to the Russell. The Russell, overbought. Dow, overbought. So that's how your 1 hours are looking right now on your indexes. And I'm going to bring you in real quick and go through this because I don't really feel like wasting too much time. SPY, gap is filled. The gap is filled, which is your SPX 447. Again, we will let this determine what it is. As you guys saw on the charts that I've been sharing over the past couple of days, I was sharing how you've got this and you've got this. And you are undoubtedly looking at a bullish breakout that was due to be taking place, and that's exactly what we wound up getting. So here we are. We are back up at that same level. We've filled the gap. Come over on your ES, looking at the 4 hour, and this has just made a turn as we are talking. 4 hour right up here into the 85s. It just took a dip just now, not even 2 minutes ago, was pointing straight up. And this is still your gap from when you rolled over your contracts. And this gap is still going to get filled, whether you like it or you don't like it. That's what you're dealing with. But as of right now, you are bullish. You are above the 10-day, the 5-day, the 20-day, the 50-day, and all the rest of them way down here. 100, 400, 200. 10-day and the 5-day will make a little bit of a bearish cross later today, but nobody cares because it's all about CPI. Everybody wants to go suck Tom Lee's dick. Gap filled 4447. Overnight here, we are filled. This gap is filled. We still want to see it filled during the cash trading session, but it is filled. And you come over onto your VIX. Like I was saying earlier last week, late last week, as we had this run up going here into Friday, we need to make sure that this is not a one off. It was a great move, but we need to make sure it's not a one off. And for me, that one off line is this 1451. If I can see it holding above that 1451, as weak as this thing is, I will have a glimmer of hope that we have still the plausibility that the July range of being 73.43 points so far, having only had 2 trading sessions that have traded greater than 40 points. Actually, 37.57. That was your biggest other than these two. The 49 points on June 27th and the 43 points on last week, Friday, where we had the sell down. We're trading in a pickleball fucking little box. We're going nowhere on range, but we're still here to make trades. We're still here to make money. More importantly, we are here to understand why we are making money, not the fact that we just pushed a button, did something, and hey, look at that, magically, I lost this, I made this. You get what you put into it. People get what they deserve. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's going to continue to be. Futures, 1 hours, overbought as we went into that candle, which just closed here at 6 o'clock. Overbought. 1 hours all the way across. Russell 2000 is your steamroller right now. This is the one that's in charge. CPI comes out at 8:30. After 8:30, we will be live in the chat room as we always are, and we will make decisions after that. Have a great morning. Catch you in the chat room.